In this video, I talk about how modern architecture web applications directly use APIs and about how cross-origin request sharing is used to protect them. Hi, I'm Don Bowman with Agilicus, where we make any application available to any user on any device with any login without a VPN. If you're new here, be sure to click that subscribe button and read the description below for links to more information. Stick around to the end to see how we use the very origin method to make cores work with Istio Service Mesh. Web applications used to be written as monoliths. The server and client intermingled. ASP.NET and PHP were typical of the time. You would see an architecture like this. There was no firm API between the presentation layer and the back end. It's all one monolith. They're upgraded together. Gradually, we got abstractions like model view controller, but this monolith remained. More recently, people have started writing applications where the browser is a richer first-class citizen. Using platforms like Angular and React are typical. As these became more popular, the older form submit model gives way to the single-page application, which in turn is directly using APIs. Then we had an epiphany. Why have a backend at all? Why not just use APIs and have the client run in the browser? This way, we can directly access RESTful services more richly, more reactively, and now we can evolve these microservices without worrying about the front end. We can evolve the presentation layers without worrying about the data. Life is good. But like all good things in life, risks become real, crooks become rich. Flaws are found, and like all such things, standards emerge to solidify and codify best practices. For the direct consuming API application, we invented a standard called cross-origin request sharing, or CORS. You'll hear a lot about CORS. CORS is a mechanism that uses additional HTTP headers to instruct the browser, thus the web application, what origins it may use, and how to access resources from a different origin. This is important since once we broke up the monolith, the application is now fetched from a different origin than the data. So this might be the server feeds you this file, and then you use these bits. We don't want evil JavaScript posting our secrets back home to another API. We want to allow the good application to fetch my profile. How do we do that? CORS. Once upon a time, the same origin policy was sufficient. We came from where we wanted to talk. Now we need more. The first thing to be aware of is there's a new flow called pre-flight. It uses an HTTP options request. When your application, and thus your browser, first wants to use a new API, it does a pre-flight check. If this fails, it assumes it's because of CORS, and it logs it to your console without more details. JavaScript is unable to get any details about why this failed, so it can't fall back to other methods. Now, CORS is very complicated to get right. You can indicate if authentication is allowed to prevent credentials from being leaked. You can indicate who you can talk to and where. As a consequence, there's a fixed set of headers which are sent for CORS, and yours may not be in the list. You might have to add it to the access control list. A server must manually indicate if it wants to allow authentication, etc. Unlike its cousin, the content security policy, CORS is very simplistic in hosts. You get one or all. So you can say example.com or star. This can be challenging if you want a small set of origins to use your API. And by challenging, I mean write some complex logic on your server out of scope of this presentation. Do you need CORS? Well, if you write an API, you must implement CORS. You got no choice, so may as well make it so. I mentioned above it was complex and required web server support to have more than one origin. Of particular interest here is the vary tag. Let's say you have two tabs open using the same API, either from the same application or maybe different applications. The problem is the browser is going to cache, which means it can return the CORS header of one to the other application. Naughty, naughty browser. The fix, if you add a vary origin header, it will send a new request for each origin. So thanks for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Would you like to enable the best security on your legacy applications? I'd love to get your input or feedback. Please email me, info@agilicus.com, and check out more information on our website and the links below. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.